Hello and welcome to Photo Time with Anderson. This is a quick walkthrough of editing a portrait in Photoshop. I pulled this one out of the crew member for Catalina Swim. For actually this gentleman right here did the swim and I helped kayak. So I have this image of him as well that I'm going to edit in Lightroom as an alternative to this. He is definitely the everyday hero. It's not me. But here is how to edit in Photoshop. There were a couple of things that I liked in this image that a friend took of me, where it is editable, if you will. So the white balance is pretty good. What we're going to start with is in here. This is a background layer. So in that background layer, you come in here to image adjustments. For some reason, I don't see a shadows and highlight as a separate layer. I've got Spotify an ad for us there. Okay, so it automatically does this to it, which means it automatically brings the shadows up, which it did want it to do, but I'm going to bring the shadows all the way down, so I should be looking at my original image. What I want to do first is bring the highlights actually up a little bit. And if you guys can see that evened out, the sort of like overly brightness of the side of my face and then the white t-shirt. Now I'm going to bring the shadows up just a pinch. That's really similar to the highlight slider in Lightroom, but we won't get into that just yet. I'm happy with that just because it gave some nice even lighting to my face here. And if I come in here and I go down to the bottom of my history, I have there's that layer and then there's that layer. In fact, what I think I want to do is I'm going to duplicate this layer real quick here so that I have two different layers, since I am modifying the actual layer itself. So layer, so we come into image, adjustment, image adjustment, and I bring the shadows down and bring the highlights up a little bit. I click OK, and now I have that on that layer. Next thing I want to do is do my exposure. So I go layer, adjustment layer, and I come in here to exposure. Here I can change my exposure up or down, and that'll just change the brightness or the darkness of the overall image. So I'm just going to pump the exposure up just a pinch. Next thing I am going to do is zoom on in for some retouching. So what I want to do, I don't want to get too crazy with this, but I come over here to my spot healing brush tool, and if it's not on that, you can pull it down here. So this is the spot healing brush tool, and when you go over it'll yeah, no wonder it's not doing things. It's on the wrong layer. So there we go, and now it'll start to clean up like little discrepancies in the skin, etc. So see that dark mark is now gone. There's a little dark mark here. If I wanted to get rid of this freckle, if we wanted to do kind of like more of a general cleaning up of it, I'm not sure if it'll. Yeah, it'll kind of clean up those laugh lines too. Probably not too necessary for you guys. I got some sunscreen right here, but right there, that does not look so good. So I needed to maybe do those a little bit separately. In fact, part of the problem with that is actually taking the area and combining it, the surrounding area. So I'm just going to leave the sunscreen for now because that would be a different tool that I don't want to work with just yet. Clean up that little red spot. Okay, so I'm going to zoom out a little bit. There's still some stuff that we could do with that. We're going to leave it for now. Here in curves, so we're going to do another adjustment layer, new adjustment layer. It's called curves. Click OK, and that if I bring the top side up and the bottom side down, then and then I'm actually gonna, because I kind of want to preserve that lightness in the face. that's going to provide some contrast in my image. And it just kind of depends on your image, because I did the shadow and highlight layer, and but that adds a lot of like brightness and vibrancy as well. So if I'm having issues with the white balance in this image, which I'm not, I can actually click on this little guy right here, and that'll set a white balance. So that's if the image was too yellow, but you have to kind of find the right spot, and it definitely has to be on something white. So that added some warmth to it, but another way, if you're not comfortable with that, is you can come in here to layer, a new adjustment layer, and you can go to photo filter, and you can experiment around. If you want, you could do a cooling filter, which will fix it if it's yellow, and a warming filter, which will fix it if it's a little too blue. You can even come in here to a sepia, just kind of a popular one. So let's just leave it there because I kind of like it there. The last step that I just wanted to take with this image, because it has to be a little overexposed here to make the image work, is I'm going to add a vignette to it. So I'm going to add a new layer just by doing that. I'm going to come up here to the elliptical marquee tool here, and I'm going to select where I am in the middle here, where the person is in the middle. And then I'm going to go select inverse, and I'm going to use the paint bucket to drop in some black. Now that looks kind of pretty harsh, so I just deselected that. So that looks pretty harsh, so that's not what I want. But I can do a couple of different things here. So now I'm going to go to Filter, Blur, and I'm going to go to Gaussian Blur, and blur it quite a bit. Okay, I'm liking the shape of that. I'm liking the blur on it, but it's just a little too dark. It's just a little too like black. Okay, so what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to change this up here, this layer blending mode, to multiply. Oh, that did not change it that much. Let's try darken. So let's do multiply, and then let's pump the opacity of that down a little bit. Okay, now I'm liking that quite a bit more, so I can kind of play around with those little darkened in edges. And I feel like parts of it, I feel like it's like a little too dark. What I could actually do is I could take my eraser tool, and I could redo it, or I could take my eraser tool and I could make it nice and soft here. And I'm just making it really big by holding down the bracket keys. And I'm just like erasing out a little bit, but leaving a little bit of those edges. Just making sure that I didn't like kind of like do too much on that vignetting there. There we go, but I still have a little bit. So, and I can see over here in my preview that that's kind of like my layers. At this point, I'm going to come back and maybe I'm going to even adjust my exposure up a little bit more, just because I feel like it's working with this image. And then the last thing I'm going to do is this filter. I love this. I'm looking for my unsharp mask. This is the nice part about Photoshop. Here we go. So filter, sharpen, unsharp mask, and I've never really got the unsharp mask 100%, but I know that if we pull our threshold up, we should get some nicer values on the cheek here. Okay, and that pulls in a little bit of the detailing and the sharpening so that you can see that. Okay. All right, that is editing for Photoshop, and thanks for watching.